I'm afraid it's the exact same presentation I already gave there. I hope you might still find it interesting. I made a little tool to help you understand Bézier curves. It's called SpeedPunk for a reason I'll explain later. This is a quick overview about what to the user interface that you will see in the application. I'll go into theory a little bit. What you see here is a straight line. Therefore, it doesn't have any curvature. This is a circle. It does have curvature and identical curvature all around. And what this tool that I didn't really invent but implemented does is it illustrates the amount of curvature outside of the outlines. So theoretically, if you drew a circle in a font editor and used the tool, you would see an illustration something like this, because a circle has an identical curvature all around. As an illustration of the curvature, you would again see a circle. Such a shape would have such an illustration. It's a quarter of a circle with two lines. Three circles of different diameter could maybe produce such an illustration. The smallest circle, leftmost circle, has the most dense curves, therefore the curvature is higher, therefore the illustration of the curvature is also bigger, perpendicular to the outline going outwards. Again, three circle pieces, different amount of curvature. The Bézier curves have been developed, as I hope you know, by two gentlemen working in French automobile design and computer-aided design in the early 60s. They were developed simultaneously by Paul de Castelhau, I believe, working for Citroën, and Pierre Bézier working for Peugeot. Unfortunately, Citroën decided to keep the development a secret until the late 60s, which is why we know it under Bézier's name and not de Castelhau, who is believed to have invented it first. Actually, I don't believe that two people invented it simultaneously anyway. They must have been communicating. And it's used in many fields of technology nowadays, such as aerodynamics, aquadynamics, and of course typeface dynamics. Okay, a word about continuity of curvature. There are three official levels. I added a 0 level, which is no continuity at all, just so you better get what I mean. Two curves and they don't connect, they have no continuity at all. Then there's the G0 continuity, called positional continuity. It just means two curves and they do connect. However, there's no curvature continuity. And there's G1, tangential continuity. So you have two curve segments, they do connect. However, their curvature is on the point of the on-curve point isn't identical on both sides of the point. So they do share a common tangent here, but no identical curvature. Then there's G2, curvature continuity. This is what I think we should try to achieve in type design. Whenever you have these on-curve points here and there's curvature on both sides, this is what should be achieved, which is why I made this tool, which will help you in achieving that. So the illustration here, the curvature illustration, they also meet. There's a lot of math involved, most of which you have already learned in school actually. And then there's the next level, acceleration continuity. So even whatever first or second derivative or whatever of the common cubic Bézier function, even they are continuous here. This is not necessarily, you don't necessarily want that in your typeface. It's really design decision. So I'm not, by explaining this tool, I'm not at all like giving you any hints on how you should design typefaces. That's really on you. But this tool will help you understand what the Bézier curves do and therefore make informed decisions about your design. Oh yeah, so even the curvature illustration at the point they share a tangent. Why is this important? Because if you would ride a roller coaster and you would go from a straight flat into a quarter circle curve, it would probably break your spine. So we need this for roller coasters. Oh yeah, here's the illustration. Your spine would probably break right here and then a second time here. If this was a roller coaster, we need this for for designing roads. Imagine the steering wheel, and you would go from a straight into a quarter circle. Like, you know, you would have to like infinitely accelerate your steering wheel. So what we want isn't a straight line connecting to a quarter piece of a circle. We want something more like this, and its curvature illustration should start out at 0 here, increase, reach a maximum, and decrease again. This is how you also like turn your steering wheel, and not this. Why is this important for type design? Because we draw shapes in the computer that you wouldn't like draw with these on-curve points. They're not the natural way to draw. If you draw a letter on a piece of paper, you take a pen and you draw a continuous curve. And we have this technical limitation of the Bézier curves and on-curve points, and some limitations that tell us we should position them on mathematical extremes. I think nowadays it's arguable whether or not this is really necessary, but we do it anyway. Okay, so take this broad nib pen-shaped O, for instance. The extremes, I don't know if these points are really correct. I just positioned them like that. This would more or less be logical extremes, but we're asked to position points like this. And the tool is going to help you to position nodes. Now I'm going to quickly show you in the application itself how this works. This is RoboFont, not the latest version. There's little, it's a subset of the drawing tool. So you go to the anarchist A thing, and you can choose whether the illustration is supposed to be outside of the glyph. And size, and because things like here will run into loops, there's also the option to outside of the curve always. It's a bit hard to hold the microphone and do all the stuff at the same time. Yay! Cool. Thanks. Okay, so there's again you can change size of the illustration. And then you take notes and draw and design. So in this case here of the flag of the A, you see one important, well, it's, yeah, this is where it goes into design. The quality of the two curves here, of the top curve of the flag and the bottom curve, they show two different qualities of the curves. The two top curves, they have an emphasis of curvature here towards the middle of the segment, while the two bottom curves show emphasis towards the sides of the segments. And while this is maybe barely visible without such a tool, requires experience, it's possible. It will definitely help to see such things. So what you want is, at least have identical curvature quality. And then we would want the curvature illustration here to meet. So it's continuous. This already looks a lot better. But again, like, these are design decisions that you as designers make for yourselves, and the tool will just help you. Another good example is the O. Here you can see that at least by color, the color is an interpolation of the lowest and highest measured point in that particular glyph. You can see, okay, there's a maximum here and here, and the shapes, well, they have a similar color here on the top right and the bottom left, but they also have a similar size, these illustrations, so you can kind of think, okay, yeah, maybe they're similar, these parts, this part here and this part here. It helps. There's a fader. Why is it there? Or there's a histogram, first of all, of questionable use, but imagine you have shape and there's imagine there's a tiny little curve. I explained in the beginning that small curves have a very high curvature. So imagine you have an A like this. Okay, it's actually on the wrong side. Imagine you have a letter like this, and the illustration here is kind of like overlaying everything else, and it's disturbing your attention. You can kind of like fade it out like this. This is what it's for, the histogram. It kind of makes it easier to concentrate on the other parts, the other shades. In a future version, there might be the possibility to have the illustrations only for the segments that you select. But so far, I don't know, the tool doesn't have any bugs so far, so I don't see why I should make another version at the moment. Yeah, cool. Okay, two more things, then I'm already done. This I'm going to show you in glyphs. It's a plugin for both glyphs and RoboFont, and you just double click and it works. It's an identical tool. I'm going to show you this psychedelic. What you see here is visual proof of the fact that you can draw perfect circles with Bezier outlines. This circle is constructed as we are used to, of 4 quarter pieces of a circle, and you would expect for a circle that the outline is also like a perfect circle, while here you see you see a minimum here towards at the nodes, then you see a maximum at about 14 and 76 degrees, and then kind of like a medium here. And this is only possible in glyphs because there is a bug that makes it ignore, where is that? Makes it ignore this setting here, grid length of 1, so it should actually snap to the grids, and as soon as I move the shape, it will actually snap to the grid, and we look, ooh, different. Okay, anyway, I'll draw another circle to show you what I mean. Yeah, something like this. Now it's snapped to the grid, and it's probably of odd dimensions in this case. So this is how circles really look in your type design. But perfect circles look like this. Second thing, or maybe even last thing I want to show you, I don't know if you know what an inflection actually looks like. This is curve, and an inflection simply means that yeah, the curvature is crossing into the other side, quite simply. And while this should be avoided in most letters, there's of course a letter where this is necessary, which is of course the S. Yeah, you see the curvature crossing into the other side. In this case, it's necessary. I think that's it, really. Questions? Please go ahead.
If you have like the idea that you can kind of harmonize things or equalize them the way you'd like, if you have like your line and then the shapes that SpeedPump draws, and you want them to like meet up in the middle, could you have an action that just said everything correctly for that particular point? That
there is already software for that, which is called Harmonizer by Tim Ahrens. Yeah,
and that's exactly
it
what
does. Exactly that. This tool only. This tool only, as well as my previous tool ATypI, it only illustrates things and it doesn't help you with anything. It only helps you understanding what you see to make informed decisions and the decisions you make yourself. Whether you can then of course choose to use a tool like Harmonizer, and you will see that it does exactly that. Except before this tool, you weren't able to see it, like there was no visual proof. You would have to believe Tim that his tool does its job, and now you can actually prove, and it does its job. It does exactly that, yeah. And it does it well. You can use the two of them combined if you like. Oh yeah, and should any one of you be interested in using it, you can always get in touch with me. Any more questions? Please? No? Thank you.